what's happening right now with technology, the AI development, and all of this news that's coming out right now, for which I'll share here in a moment, is absolutely mind-blowing because it is accelerating the discussion of what the end times is going to look like in terms of deception and the coming of the Antichrist and all this stuff. Now, I believe, just right off the bat, as a caveat, that AI, machine learning, technology, all of this are inventions that were heavenly and from the Lord. And if you take something that can be used for good and you pervert it for demonic, ungodly things, just like anything in life, right? Just everything from eating to sex, all of these things can be perverted, and it could be used so that it would glorify not God, but selfish, desires and satanic things. And so the same goes for all this stuff. I personally use AI. I personally use ChatGPT and also the image generation DALL-E and just all these things, right? Midjourney, and I use it for a lot of my shorts and my short form content, but I'm doing it responsibly, right? But if you start doing this, again, like any other thing, entertainment, videos, if you create it for ungodly things, and this is what you're going to see. And so I believe right now with all the news coming out, ChatGPT, first and foremost, recently, and this is a little bit dated, about a week or two old, they just came out with a video generation model called Sora. Now, let me show you this really quickly. This video is from a year old, or more than a year old, and this was from AI. Look how bad it is, right? And again, this was prompted by just simply typing, "Show me The Rock eating something," or "Will Smith eating spaghetti," and within seconds, this is what was generated. But this was 1 year ago. Now, look at what's being generated now. You type in something like, "Hey, show me a astronaut with a red carpet, cap, walking to a spaceship shuttle and approaching it, entering it," whatever it is. And this was created in seconds. It looks like a Hollywood blockbuster movie that they're filming, as well as the face here, how detailed it is, how realistic it looks. And the next, here showing a person on a cloud, and it could be very creative. But again, you can't tell if it's fake or real. And here showing, again, somebody, in a train in Tokyo or something, and the reflections, all of this stuff looks like it was filmed. Now, some of this other stuff, it looks like very cartoonish, and it's a video game, and you can tell it's fake. But it's absolutely shocking to me how realistic this looks. Now, if it's this good now, imagine 10, 20 years, 30 years from now, and how realistic it could be to convince you of what could be the news, like what could be actual evidence or footage based on what people want it to do. And so I personally believe that maybe in the future we'll have some distinction, just like with foods, right? You'll have the genetically modified stuff, you'll have it labeled. You have to have a responsible control or distinction between the real and the organic versus the fake, if you want to say that, stuff, and the modified stuff. So I think we'll have something like that for which you can distinguish whether it's through a tag or the metadata behind the footage or something to that degree. But for now, people are being deceived left and right. So let me show you another footage. This is a elderly person, I think a grandma, it says grandma here, but this person basically got pranked into thinking this is real life footage because somebody showed them video game footage from GTA 5 or Grand Theft Auto.
No, oh my god. No. Oh my god. No way. I'm the Parkway.
Shadow, you get the best video.
They're looking at this crash, and obviously people look at this and they know that it's fake footage. Now, if somebody like her is not familiar with the technology these days and what footage looks like, how much more in the future will the younger or the older generation at that time be deceived? And so, again, I'm not saying anything bad about anybody older, but from this person's perspective, they've lived a life for which they were not exposed to this. And then when you tell them, you convey a certain crafted message, and then you frame it in a way for which people, based on what the majority say, and sort of just pushing this narrative, you're going to get people being deceived. And so let me show you another development. This person does a good job just summarizing this new news that has come out recently.
Google today has been forced to suspend its AI chatbot because people have been claiming that it refuses to show pictures and achievements of white people. For example, one user posted on Twitter saying it's embarrassingly hard to get Google Gemini to acknowledge that white people exist, and then proceeded to show images that it generated of women from Australia, America, Britain, Germany, Sweden, Finland, and you get the point. The AI was also criticized for being too woke after it started generating images that mostly featured people of color in scenes from history which would have only involved white people. Google has now paused the AI's ability to generate faces, saying it missed the mark and that they are now working to address the issue. But to be honest, it's not just Google. For example, a 2023 report in the Washington Post found that with Stable Diffusion's AI, prompts for a productive person and an attractive person produced images pretty much only of white people. Meanwhile, the prompt person at social services produced images only of people of color. So the question is this a sign that Google have just gone too woke? Or is removing bias from AI just an incredibly tricky task?
So obviously Google slipped up there, but the point here is that if you can program and you can have certain parameters, whether it's ChatGPT or Google's Gemini or any other chat or AI-based language model, then you're going to see other people be very sly with it and feed you certain types of information. So this is what we've been seeing with mainstream media and how they frame certain things. But how much more to the unbeknownst person will they basically believe it because how they frame it and what they search? The same thing happens, we know, with Google showing you certain search results as well as YouTube. This stuff happens now. We've seen it with censorship and everything that's happened over the last couple of years. Now, I'm saying this because what's happening right now? In the future, I believe that some of the great deception, and again, I just selected some verses about the end times and how people, like it says in 2 Thessalonians 2:9-10, the coming of the lawless one is according to the working of Satan, with all power signs and lying wonders, and with all unrighteous deception among those who perish because they did not receive the love of the truth, that they might be saved. Now, a lot of this, we're talking about the gospel, we're talking about what that truth is. But how do you deceive somebody, right? 1 Timothy 4:1, now the Spirit expressly says that in the latter times some will depart from the faith, giving heed to deceiving spirits and doctrines of demons. 2 Timothy 3:13, but evil men and impostors will grow worse and worse, deceiving and being deceived. Now you gotta wonder, right? How is it that smart people all over in the end times are going to be that much in deception? Like they got stupider, like their IQ dropped, and somehow we're producing and giving birth to babies that are not able to like comprehend certain logic? Or is it that there is a deceiving spirit? There is this woke agenda and it's being pushed out, it's being taught to the kids and all of that we know, but also as a supplement, we're seeing developments in technology and AI that's going to spoon feed them what they believe is reality. But it's actually AI. It's fake. It's being made up. And so it's going to give you your perception of reality based on how they want to formulate and conjure up what the narrative is or what the truth, quote unquote, is that they want you to believe. They say things like history is written by the victor and all of the stuff that we know now that we're trying to uncover. A lot of that was brought down by the powers that be, whether you want to call them the elite, the deep state, the Illuminati, these families, because they wanted you to learn about something of history based on how they wanted it to be framed. And so the same thing will happen probably into the coming year. So I'm saying this as a warning. Be very careful how we move into this next season. We have to step up. We have to be able to pray, intercede in the Spirit, but also when we have the chance to provide responsive decision-making on how to control some of these things. Again, we're not forcing it on anybody, but we need to get into these positions of power and influence so that we can dictate, whether by law, whether by corporate structure and a top-down sort of business decision, or any other way, through influence, through the way, even for me as I talk and bring awareness to this topic, whatever it is, we have to do it such that other people can counteract what is basically this great deception and all of these deceiving spirits. So just wanted to give you guys this. If you guys can help me out, I'm trying to reach my goal by the end of this month for my GoFundMe page, or as a supplement, I have the Give, Send, Go. Please, if you would consider supporting me, I'm really trying to get there. I have a lot coming up. I've said this before, guys. We're moving into some tough times, followed by the best is yet to come, which is how a lot of us that are awake, enlightened, and in audience 3, we've been communicating this message. So love you guys. Be encouraged. Talk to you guys very soon.